I dabbled in everything, and I think that's kind of shown as well. When I got into college, I tried every course under the sun. So I think I was like that as a kid as well. So I think once I got into being a personal assistant, I realised that I really enjoyed it, and that's kind of where I enjoy being. It kind of sparks a little, well, yeah, like fun in me, I guess, yeah. I am Jemma Gallagher. I'm a personal assistant at the Financial Conduct Authority to an Executive Director of International. I would say on a day-to-day business, my job is to organise someone that does not have any time to organise themselves. Basically, I have to book all of their meetings, internal, external meetings. I have to plan their day from beginning to end, and also what they need to take home with them overnight to make sure that they sign anything off, read any reports to bring back the next day. I never knew what I wanted to do when I was younger. I went into sixth form. I did a GMVQ in leisure and tourism that I didn't really find that interesting. So then I left there and I did a beauty therapy course, which I really enjoyed, but again, it didn't kind of spark any sort of further thought for me. I then did an interior designing course, which again, I really enjoyed. I finished it, but it didn't really kind of spark any joy in me. So I started working in Topshop, which I actually really enjoyed. It kind of got me out talking to customers, built my confidence quite a lot. I realised that when I was in the store, I liked to make things really organised. Every time I had a shift, I would organise all the clothes into sort of size order, make sure they all matched. So I think that kind of sparked that I would like to be organised. I then went and did an executive assistant course in London at a school called Quest Professional. When I came out of there, I actually got headhunted by the FCA because I put my CV on a Sex in the City website. It's SECS. So that's a website that you kind of go on if you're a PA, an EA, a team admin or receptionist. It has loads of jobs all over the city, and you can kind of have a look at what the roles are, how much it is, and what the recruiter is looking for. And it also works both ways, so the recruitment companies, they look on there as well, and they kind of look for who they need. So I got a phone call from a recruiter asking to go and interview at this company that I'd never heard of, to be a temp for 6 months. So I went into the interview thinking, okay, I'll just give it a shot and see how it goes. And then 6 years later, I'm still there. So when I was at Quest, we kind of did a lot of real life scenarios, and also kind of helped set us up for what to expect when we leave the college. So we had like a little bit of a seminar where loads of recruiters came in and we signed up to them, and then also signed up to things like LinkedIn, Sex in the City, and they kind of made sure our profiles were good, what the recruiters were looking for, that was filling in all the right information. We did a law session, we did marketing, advertising, social media for the business. We did sort of a day in the life of a PA as well, so we'd do diary management and mailbox management, which helps quite a lot because you don't realise how much kind of comes into your boss's inbox, as well as looking after your own. We did events, planning events, visas. Obviously, if you look after an executive, they tend to travel quite a lot, so then you need to remember what visas they need every time they travel to a different country, and whether they're allowed into the country working. So it was very informative. You learn a lot. You do learn a lot. There isn't really any specific qualifications that you need. I think you need to be passionate about what you do and enjoy it to kind of be motivated throughout the day. I think some of my key skills are being organised and being able to prioritise. I did do the Quest Professional Executive Assistant Programme, which I think helped me a lot. I did sort of do bits and pieces before I went to this college, but it kind of gave me a lot more knowledge and also gave me a bit of guidance that what I was doing was right. When you're a PA, you can sometimes be quite isolated because you're organising everyone else. You don't always get the feedback that you're doing everything right. You only normally hear if you've done something wrong or if you haven't done anything. So it's good. I would definitely recommend doing Quest Professional. I would say being calm. It's quite stressful being a PA. You sort of are the forefront of everything, so you can kind of get things coming from every angle sometimes, depending on what your boss is involved in. So a typical day for my boss, she will be in meetings from 8 till about 5:30, and every meeting will be a completely different topic. So every meeting that's involved, there'll be a whole team of people behind that, and they're all coming to you asking where she is, has she got this, where's that. So I think on an hourly basis I probably interact with about 50 people asking questions or just updating me, so I have to sort of keep on top of that. So being calm definitely helps. Being organised, being friendly. I think it's quite important to build up relationships with your internal and external stakeholders as well as your bosses. So building relationships with your boss's PAs and offices is really important. And then the typical things, being organised, being tidy, being time management is definitely key. Knowing how to prioritise will make sure you keep all of your actions done and on time. I think most PAs as well, they work better when they're under pressure because then they know the deadlines, they know what they need to get done. I'd say a typical day, the first 2 hours will be the same every day. I kind of have my routine. I go in and set up to make sure that I'm kind of ready for the day. So I get in the morning, I set my boss up ready for the day. So I turn her computer on, I get her ready to go, and then I set myself up. I read all of my emails and I read all of her emails, and then I make sure nothing changed overnight. So sometimes if she's travelling, her plane or a train might have been cancelled, so I kind of need to reschedule everything, rebook her cars. Or if a meeting's been cancelled overnight, we kind of have to reschedule and then reshuffle her diary around. So I'd say by 10 o'clock, then I start kind of acting on any ad hoc stuff that's come in throughout the day. That can be that she needs to go and travel somewhere else, she needs to attend a conference, or we need to set up some meetings. Depending on how many people need to be there, setting up a meeting can be quite intense because she might need to do a round table with sort of 20 people from across the city. I think my morning feels like it's about an hour, so by the time lunchtime comes, I can't believe it's lunchtime. And then the afternoon, I start getting ready for her for the next day. So then I start looking at her packs. I make her electronic packs every day, make sure she's briefed for all of her meetings, any media appearances she's got. And then I guess that would probably take about 3 or 4 hours to make sure that she's ready to go for the next day. So we need to make sure that we're at headcount, that we sort of liaise with HR, with finance to make sure that we're kind of hitting target, that we're not sort of over headcount, and we need to make sure that we're not too far under, that the staff that we have are stretched. So that's quite important tasks. There's a lot of things that we have to think about with org charts, headcount, budget, which obviously renews again every year. I love organising people and I love being organised. So I feel like by the end of the day, I feel like a huge sense of achievement most days because I know I've completed about 100 actions. I've set up, about 20 meetings. Everything's gone smoothly. I'm quite proactive throughout the day as well. So if I do have a bit of a quiet moment, then I'll start thinking of different things or different projects that I can start working on, or new ways or better ways of working. So I think that would probably be what I enjoy. Challenging, I guess, being a PA is I'm the face of her and I'm the kind of connection to my boss. So I work quite quickly and I like getting things done and moving on to the next thing. I guess the most frustrating sometimes is obviously everyone's really busy. So when I ask for something, I need to wait for it basically. So half the time, a lot of my actions will stay sort of pending where I'm waiting for a lot of things to come in. So it kind of has to teach me a bit of patience that I can get as far as I want to, but then I need to give people a chance to give stuff back to us. I interact with quite a lot. My boss is a lawyer. Also in our office we have a private secretary, he's also a lawyer. A lot of the people in our division are policy advisors. So they kind of look into the new policies, I guess, for what's going to roll out to banks and accountancy firms, that sort of thing. We also have a lot of lawyers that we interact with, lawyers, accountants, and financial accountants. So they kind of look in, they can easily sort of dissect what like behind the scenes of a bank. We also deal with a lot of media and press officers. My current boss, she needs to be interviewed quite a lot, and she has to be on TV quite a lot, and she has to go to speeches quite a lot. So we interact with them mostly, and also any comms officers that are going to put any press outside. I also deal with the CEO of our company quite a lot, and the chairman of our office. Yeah. I would say if you're new to doing a PA role, it's good to go in as an admin or a secretary or a team assistant. That's how I started out. I went in as a team assistant, worked for a team of 10 people. And then once you've kind of done that for a few years, you build up a lot of your skills. You have to liaise with a lot of people all the time, so it kind of helps you progress with your prioritization skills. Once you've done that, then you can kind of move on to being a PA. I became a PA to the head of a department after 2 years. I think if I hadn't done the team assistant role, I would have probably been quite lost. I didn't really know that there was quite a big difference between each role, and it helped me. It was kind of a good stepping stone from one to the other. A lot of people, though, do take a role into being a paralegal in our company. So when you're in a team, the first team I went into was in enforcement, and they look into investigating all the banks that may have done something wrong. So they have paralegals that kind of log all the evidence, kind of file everything away, read all the evidence. So sometimes it's a natural stepping stone to go into a paralegal role, and then once you've done that, you can become an associate. So it's very diverse, I'd say it's 50-50 in the FCA, whether you do become the paralegal and you go that route, or whether you work towards being a PA to a HOD, and then a PA to a director, and then obviously a chairman and CEO. Just go with the flow, I guess. Work hard and see where it takes you, because the more you work hard and the more relationships you build, it kind of brings a new path. I've always found as well, if I volunteer for different projects that come up that aren't related to my team, I end up meeting a lot of more people from all over the FCA, which I think has helped my sort of progression and my growth. I think every 2 years I've been promoted, which I think where I put myself out there and I get out of my comfort zone. I think that's kind of helped me grow. So yeah, I'd probably say just go with it, just give it a try. If it doesn't work out, then it doesn't work out. I think good advice is to always reach out. I think a lot of people don't realise that if you reach out to a company, they will actually look into something for you, whether you can come and do work experience or shadow someone. So if you're interested, ask your parents or ask a family friend. We've actually had a lot of kids that are interested in accountancy. They've kind of reached out through a family member and then come and done work experience at our company. We've had people from school, people in sixth form, people at uni come and spend a few weeks with us. We actually had one boy who came in. He was on a 2-week work experience sort of with us. He's now a really good accountant at KPMG, and he still talks to the original people that kind of brought him in, showed him what to do. Also kind of just opened his mind up to the actual whole thing around being an accountant, whereas I guess if you're kind of just interested, you don't know the ins and outs of what it is like to work in the role. So ask questions, reach out to people, do some research on what you're interested in, because there's normally something behind it.